Right, Adebajo is, of course, as I said, joining us here. He's the managing director of Jelurida Africa, and he's here to have us a conversation on blockchain technology. How exactly is it applied across, and how can we harness it here in Africa, especially now in a period where startups are coming up, and Africa is well known, especially internationally, in matters of business entrepreneurship, especially in the financial sector. And Kenya is, of course, a pioneer in that instant transfer of cash. That and much more that is happening in the world of finance. But blockchain is picking up, and cryptocurrencies are making a wave all across the world and globally. This is a phenomenon that has been observed for the past few years. And now joining me from Nigeria, Lagos, is Mr. Adebayo. I don't know whether he can be able to join me right about now. Good morning, Mr. Adebayo.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
All right, it's so great to have you. We can see you clearly. Maybe how is the weather in Nigeria at the moment?
Well, the weather is very clear.
Right,
very clear.
Right. So just like here in Kenya, so we are at par. Right now, let's get to it. What do you do at your company as the managing director?
Okay. Pretty much we are into blockchain software solutions. So we offer consultancy, we offer blockchain education, we also offer providing blockchain solutions for both private and the public sectors.
Right, now let's get to the conversation. A lot of people don't seem to be understanding what blockchain is. There's a confusion between blockchain, between crypto, and a lot of other information in between. We can start off at the definition to maybe blockchain and where the application is at.
Okay, wonderful. We look at blockchain as a technology, and cryptocurrency happens to be one of the major boom for blockchain technology when it first came. But let's look at the whole scenario between decentralized and centralized applications. Okay, so people deploy solutions on the website, they use the internet. But when it comes to securing, when it comes to transparency, when it comes to immutability of data, any specific industry that really requires all of this to be able to scale, then we look at blockchain as a solution to whatever solution they are trying to deploy. So it needs to be integrated with the already existing solution, be it the supply chain, be it the financial sectors, be it the identity management, be it the education, and so on and so forth. So blockchain technology basically is a ledger, but it enables you or anybody who wants to deploy a solution to be able to deploy it in a way that is transparent, that is immutable, and that it, of course, includes trust in the entire solution. So blockchain is a way to decentralize any solution you want to bring it up into the digital ecosystem in a way that makes them transparent and people to be able to trust and transact globally.
Right, now we as Africans at the moment, how would you say we need, and why do we need to have blockchain applied across our sectors?
Okay, wonderful. So if you look at our relationship with probably even within the country or even outside the country, so you realize there is need for trust before we can easily scale, before we can easily improve on our dealings with our neighbors. So there is need for trust, there is need for immutability of data, because let's look critically at the way we coexist with one another. There is no trust, simply because it's very, very possible for people to maneuver or to manipulate data. And there is definitely no transparency. A lot of systems we operate today, they are centralized systems. And of course, there's always this issue of single point of failure. But when it comes to deploying solutions on the blockchain, it becomes easy for anybody to trust you, even without knowing you, because they have your digital identity and they can verify your previous transactions without having to rely on third-party participations. So it's just peer-to-peer forms of dealings with anybody you want to deal with. And it makes it easier. It includes trust. And of course, it includes transparency in a way, and also cheap transactions, fast transactions. So for us to easily be able to have relationship with people abroad and even local, blockchain technology becomes important in the day of digital solutions to include trust.
Right, now that is great. That is great in terms of giving that autonomy to the people, that peer-to-peer communication. Of course, now what is then the relationship between blockchain and cryptocurrency?
Wonderful. So like I said earlier on, so blockchain is a technology, but one of the first major boom it had, of course, everybody saying we send and we receive money. So money is something that is so common to everybody. It's something we can't do without. And cryptocurrency happens to be, as it is the dream of Satoshi Nakamoto, happens to be the first major boom for blockchain technology. So cryptocurrency utilizes the technology to enable peer-to-peer form of transaction, to enable transparency, to minimize and probably to even remove this issue of double spending and so much and so forth. So in short, cryptocurrency enables you to transact globally without any limitations. So cryptocurrency happens to be the first major boom or the first major application for blockchain as a technology.
And now that we are at cryptocurrency, Mr. Adebayo, there's a lot of conversation, especially in matters of guys coming out and scamming others in exchanging Bitcoin or any other form of cryptocurrency that is out there in a market that is highly unregulated, because that is the essence of blockchain. Should we have regulations around it to curb some of these scams?
Yes. The simplest answer to that is yes. Regulation is highly required in any emerging technology to be able to protect all parties who are within this technology. It's either the seller, the buyer, the company which is acting as the intermediaries between them. So regulation is highly required because, of course, when you have several parties involved in a single deal, there is always the tendency of one party trying to overpower the other one for maximum benefit or for maximum profit. So regulation is highly required, and it protects all parties to ensure everything is done in accordance to how it should be done.
So there are also others that are called central bank digital currencies. What are those?
All right. Basically, central bank digital currencies also utilizes cryptography, and they also utilizes the blockchain technology. But in a way, they are kind of different to the regular currency we are used to, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Being the fact that most central bank digital currencies, the plan is to deploy them on a private blockchain. They use the platforms such as the Hyperledger Fabric and so on, which are basically private blockchains. And it enables the banks and the government to have maximum control over the issuance, creation, and even sending of cryptocurrencies. So in a way, they are also digital currency. They are also cryptocurrency, but they are so much different from the basic public platforms that we are used to. They are private. They are also permissioned sort of cryptocurrencies.
Right. No, I'm taking a look at the price of Bitcoin, and I see it's currently above 60,000 USD to one Bitcoin, and the volatility of Bitcoin and of course other cryptocurrencies has been something of notable, something to note, especially in the past couple of years. This year, Bitcoin was shooting from 30,000 USD to 60,000 USD and all the way back. So there's high volatility in the market, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency application of blockchain. Is there a way to curb this high volatility to ensure that the guys who are buying into cryptocurrencies are not making so much losses?
Well, let's look at the volatility from this perspective. I mean, it's a good thing for somebody who are looking towards making a high profit when the price is going way up, and it's also a way to lose, your portfolio value when it's going way down. But that is volatility when it comes to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most of the other coins. But there is also a way to minimize the volatility if you are keeping stable coins. So for people who want, like merchants who want to be accepting a cryptocurrency as a means of payment, the best way for them to go about it will be to integrate stablecoin acceptance into their own ecosystem. But it's at the risk of anybody who decided to use Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most of the others like Dogecoin, most of the others volatile coins. So it's at their own risk. Because when we have a high demand and there is limited supply, there is hardly anything you can do to control the prices of these stocks. Just like the normal stock market, it's also difficult to control the prices. It's always volatile.
Right. Is Africa ready for blockchain?
Well, that is also it's an interesting question. Is Africa ready? Let's look at the majority of the requirements to determine the readiness. Part of which is the availability of digital solutions, availability of devices like people using Android devices, iPhones, and the availability of internet. So when it comes to the numerous requirements to determine the availability of any ecosystem, we have everything already. But when it comes to the issue of regulatory frameworks, the government participation, we are always a step behind. But then the people are very much ready. They are very much involved. They are very much integrated into deploying solutions, into accepting crypto as a payment, into trading. So we are pretty much ready. All we need to do is just to find a way to get the government involved.
Right. All we need to do is to get ourselves ready, of course, even as users, as we wait for the government also to get on board. Now, the application of blockchain, of course, across the country, what are some of the top 3 sectors you can say that now, if we are ready as a continent generally, that we can use it for?
All right. I'll say probably the majority of the people will go for the financial sector, of course, which enables people to be able to transact. I mean, the whole world becomes smaller when somebody in the United States can easily send somebody in Kenya, any currency that they want, even if it's a local currency or anything within a couple of seconds. The whole world becomes smaller and people can easily transact easily. But one other sector that is very much important is the identity sector, which is also linked to various other sectors. Earlier on, you were discussing about voting application. This is linked to the identity sector. So if people can have the identity if it is managed by blockchain technology, it becomes easier for people to carry out voting and also prevent multiple voting by the single party. Then another sector which would also benefit from the blockchain technology will be the supply chain sector. So the supply chain, and we also have numerous other sectors like the agricultural sector, the health sector, the education sector. A lot of other sectors will benefit from this technology, especially from the transparency, the immutability of data, and the decentralized network of participation.
Right. Someone is telling me I haven't asked the question on security of cryptos in blockchain. How would you explain around that?
All right. So basically, security can come in let's say probably 2 different parts: the blockchain part and also the user or the customers which is utilizing the blockchain. So security comes when you have your own control of your private keys, the public key and the private key, of course. So the blockchain itself is very much secure. But what we need to worry about is the decentralized applications that are deployed on this blockchain, which is one of the major ways that a lot of hackers tend to find loopholes, and then they tend to siphon or probably even steal a couple of funds from the platform. The blockchain itself is very much secure, but then the user on his own end, on our own end, is to ensure that they keep their own private keys are very much private, because the moment the private key becomes something that is known by not 1, not 2 people, then your funds becomes easy for the hackers to be able to steal. So the blockchain is highly secured, but then the applications and then the user that are using the blockchain needs to figure out a way to make sure their own private keys are kept securely.
Right, now let's talk matters of blockchain adoption, now that we are also waiting to be ready generally as Africa. Talk about Nigeria. How is adoption there at the moment?
Well, in Nigeria, if you are very much familiar with the statistics, with the figures, acceptance of cryptocurrency or even trading cryptocurrencies on the high side. The population is there, and people are always looking forward to having multiple streams of income, which basically is by trading cryptocurrency these days. So, and we also have some other platforms who are also seeking to utilize the solution in various other sectors. We have the Nimedics, which focusing on the health sector. We have the House Africa, focusing on the real estate sector, and numerous other applications. But basically, people are focusing on the fintech because, of course, everybody needs to send and receive money.
Right.
So the adoption is on the.
So it looks like Nigeria is among the front runners in Africa in adopting blockchain.
Yes, that will be true. Yeah. And of course, people are also figuring out ways to involve the public stakeholders as well, like having several meetings and training sessions and seminars with the CBN, with the NDIC, with the SEC, and so on and so forth, just to foster a public-private sort of engagement.
So far we've spoken about how blockchain looks like up to this moment. How is there anything that we can envision into the future in terms of development, more progress?
Yes, definitely. Like myself and a couple of other blockchain stakeholders, there is something we are carrying out very soon. We call it the East Africa Blockchain Expedition. So like I said, I told you earlier, I'll be in Tanzania, I'll also be in Kenya and some other East African countries. So we believe that if there is to be a fast adoption, or if there is to be a broad adoption for blockchain technology, a lot of people need to know about it. And not just knowing about it, they also need to have the opportunity to use the blockchain in comparison to the various applications they have been so used to. I mean, decentralized applications are very, very unique, and everybody that utilizes it sees how fast it is, sees how transparent it is, and how immutable it is. It becomes easy for them to be able to trust it and to utilize it in deploying various other applications. So we have various of all these moves that are currently ongoing to bring a lot of people into the ecosystem. And it's only a matter of time when the government figures out that the people that they are meant to serve are utilizing the solution already, then the government will also find a way to include themselves in deploying and also protecting the interests of the citizens while utilizing these solutions. So it's only a matter of time before we have a mass adoption, and it's coming real soon.
Do you feel like cryptocurrency is going to disrupt the current monetary system that we have through the central banks?
It's not a question if it's going to disrupt, because it's already disrupting it. I mean, let's look critically at who is accepting. I mean, globally or probably internationally, there are several means for you to make payments, not in your local currency. Usually, people use USD as means of payment for buying goods and services abroad. But now, people, even these services are now accepting cryptocurrency. They're accepting Bitcoin, they're accepting Ethereum, Tether, but they are not accepting your own local currency. So the disruption is already in there. It's already happening. And even locally, there are people who are also accepting Bitcoin as a means of payment. So, and they rather accept this cryptocurrency rather than accepting their own local currency. So it's already disrupting it. And a lot of banks are also wise enough to start looking at ways to integrate their own solution using blockchain technology, allowing people to, buy and sell and also send cryptocurrency. So it's happening. It's happening already.
Right, disruption is already happening. Maybe finally, as we try and wind up, Mr. Adedayo, we'd love to know if someone is trying to invest between you are someone who's been in the industry for a while. You are a professional real estater, if I can say it like that, and now you're dispensing your duties and of course knowledge in the world of blockchain. If someone wants to invest in the stock market and the money market and considers it in between that and the cryptocurrency market, where should they go and what kind of risks should they weigh in between before they choose either?
All right. The thing is this: every single investment has risk, but every investor realizes that the higher the risk, the higher the possible, or the higher the returns. So, but if when it comes to risking your own finance, your own funding, or your own assets, every wise investor realizes that it's better for you to risk something you can afford to lose. Because sometimes a short-term investment can turn into a long-term investment. And if you decide to sell out way faster, then it becomes a loss for you. So, but your stock, your invested capital will remain the same, just that the value in equivalence to your own local currency or to the USD currency will be on the lower side. So diversification is also very much important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So use trusted platforms that people have been using for a very long time and you seem to trust, because a lot of all these platforms tend to disappear as well. And the moment they do so, they disappear with your money. So the first thing to do is to look for a trusted platform. The second thing to do will be to look for great investments that people have been trusting over the years. Then diversify your investment. Then wait for it to mature, wait for it to increase in value before you sell out. But never and ever use all your assets, never and ever use all your income. Always invest what you are capable of losing, what you are comfortable losing.
Invest wisely. That is what I'm getting from Mr. Adedayo, joining us from all the way in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much for having the conversation with us. And we're hoping if you're coming through to East Africa, because you are in the next few weeks, if you happen to pass by Kenya, pass by the studio as well.
Definitely. I look forward to.
Right. Thank you very much. And for the guys who have been joining us on this conversation, we've been speaking matters of blockchain with Mr. Adedayo, who is the managing director of that company. Let me get the name correct. That is Jelurida Africa DLT. He's the managing director there, Mr. Adedayo Adebajo, joining us from Lagos in Nigeria. Have yourself a good day, sir.
Thank you very much, and you too.
Right. If you missed any bits of this conversation, please make sure that you roll back on our Facebook pages at KUTV Kenya. We'll also be uploading it to YouTube at KUTV Kenya. Let me take a fast break here from this conversation on the launch, but we have much more that is coming up, including Captain Manu, who's on his way, flying his way through to the studio to discuss matters of car enthusiasm and much more that is happening here on Biashara Tuesday.